Poised at the back of most study Bibles is a map of a large body of salt water known to most as the Dead Sea. Located at the southern end of the Jordan River, just 16 miles east of Jerusalem, the Dead Sea is mentioned 16 times in the biblical text, primarily as a border to the land of promise. But there are some things about the Dead Sea that are reminiscent of the current mentality of the Christian community. That's concerning. So let's talk about how we rid ourselves of this Dead Sea mentality right here on Are You Willing to Hear? Ever since there has been a heaven and an earth, there have been seas. The creation story tells of the sea's beginnings. We all know about Genesis 11, where it tells us that in the beginning, God created. And then we see in verse 10, where it says, "And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good." And ever since that day when God declared these things to be good, there have been seas. In fact, the awesomeness in all of this is that the same sea created by God on that blessed day some time ago is the same sea that you see right now. It's the same sea that you swim in, that you sail on, that you explore today, this place, though it may be. But the Dead Sea is unique among seas for several reasons. For instance, did you know that the Dead Sea, while it has many tributaries, it feeds no body of water whatsoever? That's interesting. There are rivers and streams that all pour into the Dead Sea, all replenish the water of the Dead Sea, but the Dead Sea itself feeds no body of water. No streams run out of the Dead Sea. No rivers are the recipients of its reserves. In other words, the Dead Sea takes from those around it, but it does not give back in return. You know, just like the Dead Sea, many of believers have developed a mentality that takes from people, takes from the community, takes from the church, takes from charity. But when called upon to give back to that community, back to the other people, back to the church, we refuse to do so. We take of God's grace, we take of God's mercy, we take of God's loving kindness. But what do we really give back to Him in return? We've got a Dead Sea mentality. Our Dead Sea mentality has infiltrated our homes. It's destroyed our sense of community. It's flaunted itself flagrantly in our churches for far too long. We've got a Dead Sea mentality. Not only does the Dead Sea take but not give, but the Dead Sea has a salty disposition. Because it is so hot in the region of the Dead Sea, the water evaporates rather quickly, leaving the Dead Sea to be 5 times saltier than any body of water on earth. Just like the Dead Sea, many believers have acquired a salty disposition. Where we are supposed to have love, we show hate. Where we are supposed to have peace, we show dissension. Where we ought to be kind to one another, there is ill will and sheer contempt. Where there is supposed to be goodness, there is evil present. We should be sowing fruits of the Spirit, but instead, the Dead Sea mentality is turning the community of believers upside down because we have a salty disposition. Finally, not only does the Dead Sea take but not give, not only does the Dead Sea have a salty disposition, but I also found out that because of the high salt content of the water, no life can exist on the Dead Sea. In other words, a salty disposition brings about a lifeless existence. No life can exist in that much salt. And just like the Dead Sea, many believers find themselves living a lifeless existence, all because of their Dead Sea mentality. The same people who have been given life and that more abundantly. Because of their Dead Sea mentality, they have a lifeless existence. The church, the people of God, the very people of Christ that Christ calls his bride, harbors no life. All because of the Dead Sea mentality that we've acquired through the world. But here's the good news. Here's the good news, folks. Since we have exposed this problem on today, we declare and decree under the authority of Jesus Christ that this mentality must cease and desist. We stamp it, return the sender, mail it back to the pits of hell from which it came. We do no longer sit by idly and accept this cursed ideology, this cursed thinking, but we will let the mind of Christ be in us. And we will remove this Dead Sea mentality forever. We will operate with the same love that was given to us, the same measure of hope that we all received when we first believed, and we declare so in Jesus' name. If you have enjoyed a Dead Sea mentality, I'm certain you will enjoy our other content. Make sure you like this post, share it with those you know will enjoy, browse and subscribe to our page, and hit the bell for notifications from us regarding our new content. Thank you for joining us, and remain willing to hear.